strengths in this upcoming matchup if he ends up having to put his foot on the gas here.
All right, well, it looks like both players are ready to go here as we get set for our winner's final. Nery taking on Leaf, and here we see Leaf go with Bayonetta here, Vicky, and some interesting choices here because you've got some differences clearly between Bayonetta and Peach. Where do you think they can find the advantage in this matchup?
Well, getting close into Nery space and continuously applying the pressure, similar to what we could have seen from Peach, but now just opting to stay in the air and also take advantage of the lackluster recovery that we have seen from Isabel. Especially on this stage, though, Nery had no problem on DIing towards the stage to tech within their first game that we had seen with Arrow. Now, we could possibly see that again, and something that, you know, Leaf is going to have to watch out for is trying to get into that close space of Nery because those slingshots are going to shut him down.
And Coney, we've talked about it, the great disruptor, the slingshot coming from Isabel, already proving effective here. But it seems like players, once they get a couple of reps against an Isabel player trying to utilize that, we talk about how you want to condition somebody so I can predict how they're doing, but I'm also going to learn how you're going to try and set me up and how I can best avoid all these traps.
Yeah, there are ways around it, especially for characters like Bayonetta. There are ways to get under or around or sometimes even over the slingshot, so I'm interested to see how Leaf does it, but I've got to be honest, I think Bayonetta against Isabel wouldn't be quite as good as Peach. Maybe he's a little concerned over what we were talking about earlier, the, you know, just sort of anti-air capabilities of Isabel, or maybe he just wants to do so much damage from one single hit, but Isabel getting the KO with that down tilt, can't say I've seen that a whole bunch. Nery taking an early lead.
Nery, as you mentioned, 3-2 stock advantage, trying to find the separation here. As once again, we just haven't seen Bayonetta, much like we saw with Dialga in our last final of Region 5 and 6 here, Vicky, just rush you down and be in your face because of the Lloyd Rocket, because of the slingshot. So really give Nery a lot of credit for slowing down Leaf and their momentum.
Yeah, you can see at the attempt, though, coming in from Leaf, trying to maneuver around the Lloyd Rocket, and with that up, he's so close to the blast zone, that's going to be it for the first stock of Nery, but still with a little bit of an advantage here. You see Nery being able to control the pacing thus far, where forcing Leaf to try to play around the Lloyd Rocket at the same time without trying to overcommit.
Nery 2-2, trying to build up some more damage on Leaf. We see Leaf here finally trying to get some stage control here, gets Nery in the air, and that's what you want to do if you're Bayonetta. You got to get them launched up in the air. They have a terrific juggle game.
Oh, and Isabel apparently it's a terrific spike game. Can't believe he was able to land that off stage. Leaf just making one mistake, air dodging a little bit too low. You had to imagine the Bayonetta would have been able to make it back just because her recovery is so strong, but that one mistake, just, you could see Nery even still, one single error, and Leaf pays for it heavily.
And that's what happens at this level here, Vicky, especially really good characters like Nery that know how to trap and find their openings. They will be aggressive, but only when the window is there and they were able to take advantage of it. Now it's all Nery just slinging Leaf off the side of the stage to get the KO, and you are stunned here, Vicky.
I honestly try to take it aback. Talk about character specialists. I don't know how I feel about such a innocent, happy Isabel waving at me in the victory screen with the amount of dominance that Nery really applied in that match, and also a statement of its own. I mean, the fact that you just had Leaf struggle on even placing his feet on the ground because that fishing rod just shut him down every single time out of the recovery. It's a difficult feat here, but Nery in the game and keeping his head forward, trying to get into the grand finals, Jordan.
Yeah, Coney, you see Leaf with Bayonetta trying to get to work, but a lot of traffic in the way. And let's see if there is a fighter change coming out from Leaf as they get set to face Nery. I doubt we're going to see Isabel go to the bench anytime near soon, Tony.
Yeah, we're going to Daisy, which I do think is the correct choice, although I will say, I think more than anything, the stage really hurt Leaf there. Kalos being a huge, just flat, even stage, just giving Nery so much space to set up his traps. I think Lilat might be better suited for Peach and Daisy, but you could see already what we were talking about before, Peach being able to slow things down, Daisy being able to pluck those turnips. You saw Nery taking one, the first throw of the game, and he just snatches it right up.
Yeah, Nery going to have to combat some platforms now. That's going to go ahead and give Leaf a couple more approach options here, Vicky, because it changes the stage, changes the you are Nery Satio, you're trying to set up these traps to get Leaf to fall into. And so far, both fighters barely going back and forth, but the first stock going to be claimed by Leaf as they get on the board.
Yeah, just being able to get that positive trade, but with the retaliation right back, Nery Satio letting Leaf know that you can't get too comfortable here, and with the amount of pressure that Nery Satio has been able to apply, I definitely have to agree the Daisy pick going to really help out Leaf in trying to make this comeback from the set and trying to secure his way, but the turn of actually interrupting Nery Satio there from the attempt on getting the fishing rod on board and trying to get a string going on, and 85% already tacked onto Nery Satio. The damage output can't be said the same about Isabel versus Daisy/Peach.
Yeah, and Coney, we have to get the pom-poms out and cheer for that Nair that's coming out frequently from Nery Satio, because that's been an important tool that we have given so much credit to the fair, but the Nair has been really, really vital for the success of Nery Satio.
It's especially good against Daisy just because the character doesn't, again, not a whole lot of range. It's easy to get up there and sort of have your burst just come out first if you can kind of meet her in the air. And that's what you saw on the left side of the stage when Nery Satio got that first kill, and the fishing rod all the way at the top, almost getting the KO, not quite. And now it's basically dead even between these two. Such an even-fought game.
Yeah, I was going to say there, Coney, that was from the three-point line with that fishing rod right there. And now both fighters, this has been a really tightly contested match here, Vicky. Over 100% each. Second stock, you're trying to find some separation, but they're both relentless. But there we go. Once again, Nery Satio able to make the right read and punish.
Yeah, being able to go through that platform rather quickly, just throwing out the upper so that way trying to take out Leaf's stock successfully, and the pressure again between the Lloyd Rocket and the Slingshot, trying to force Leaf to hold on to that shield so that way you have Nery Satio being able to follow from a grab, but does have to be careful into jumping into that personal space of Leaf. You see Leaf already throwing out the up smash out of shield, but that is to say if he gets another opportunity to do so, as you have Nery Satio already running away with the lead and also keeping him up in the air, but with the reverse confrontation here, Leaf being able to even out the stock lead, but not the percentage lead, Jordan.
Yeah, and Coney, you talked about the juggling game of Isabella not being the strongest, but so far, we've seen just some really solid 1-2 combos where it's a down throw into one hit in the aerial, and that's really helped Nery Satio rack up some damage and build this advantage.
I think that really just comes to Nery Satio, his skills as a player. No, is that really? No way! That early?
Yes! That's what we both say when our kids wake up, too.
Oh my gosh,
Looking
that
at the
was
watch
bizarre.
thinking, come on now, at least give me 6
I'm out of
a.m.
focus. I'm totally out of focus. That knocked my cam out of focus. That was wild.
It's all good. We'll let you go ahead and get recalibrated here in just a second. But
Oh my
Vicky, as we
goodness.
said before, Isabel, a fighter here where that fishing rod can catch you off guard. And we saw a couple of really long distance connections